Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Bitcoin USD breakdown. Now you're going to want to stick around because we're going to be going over how this large move happened and what is going to be occurring for the rest of today, as today is going to be our last chance to make any big volatile moves happen. So please stick around and we're going to see what's going to go on and if we can't make a bit more money. Of course, the running total for the last 2 weeks is 17%. That's what we're sitting on. So let's see if we can keep on going and make another good trade. So what happened yesterday? Well, we talked about this area here, right? And we said that the market is more than likely just going to basically hang around within here as there's 3 pivot points to basically look at. That can keep the market rather constricted, rather constrained. I said that's the most likely case. However, I also did point out that there was a secondary option to take out all of this liquidity. Because what we were saying before is that there's a big drop, it tries to take out some liquidity, and then again there's a big drop, tries to take out some liquidity, and that's just what it is doing again today. Would I and did I pick this actually happening? No, I don't really see any good entries. The market really just stood up, kept on using the EMA as basically a trampoline, and now it looks like it's being retested again. It's probably going to fall through. So where would I look at entering in? Well, if it comes back to retest, it's probably going to come somewhere back up to this line here. It might, basically there's 2 schools of thought here, right? It's going to come down, hit this line, it'll come up, and then it'll make its move and go further down. That's what I would love to see. That's a really good best case scenario. Do I think it's going to come up and finish off the rest of the liquidity up here? No, I don't believe so. And why is that? Well, one, there's another pivot line here. And if we were coming up to this area, I would actually be thinking maybe we're coming in for a bit of a turnaround here. Maybe we're actually going to go on a bullish run. But until it starts entering this area, it's still bearish. Why is it bearish? Well, let's do our top-down analysis, right? So we go into our weekly. Let me just remove drawings. And we can still see that on the weekly, it quite clearly it's bearish. The EMA is nowhere near it. We've got no pivot lines to speak of until all the way down here on the weekly chart. And even on the weekly, there's so much bearishness. I don't reckon it's going to slow down anytime soon. So let's hop down onto the daily and see what's happening there. Now we can see that we had a previous bullish channel, right? We can see that at a previous bullish channel, but already we're starting to break through the bottom here. That's probably why we're finding this area as we are now in the 1 hour, and it's kind of rebounding off because it's rebounded once, twice, 3 times, big push. And if it does, like I said, come up to this area and start testing the liquidity, it might be another push to the upside. It might come all the way up here and start to fall down. But again, it's all about what happens within this blue area here. Because one, that's where the EMA is sitting on the daily, right? And if we go back to the weekly, the EMA is quite a lot higher up. It hasn't caught up to this area yet. So on the weekly, there's so much bearishness. On the daily, the EMA is within this level here. So it could come up, touch the EMA like it did all the way through here, and then continue to fall down. That is my best guess. So let's go into the 4 hours and have a bit of a better look, see? So again, we can see that's rebounded off a pivot level down here. It shot up, and we're coming into this same pivot level already. And of course, there is that imbalance that we are looking at. So what does it look most like on this? Well, obviously now, in comparison to the weekly and the daily, the EMA has been broken through. The EMA has been broken through, and we can see we're quite a ways above it on the 4 hour. However, also on the 1 hour, we can see that we're basically testing it now. So this would be actually a perfect time for it to break through, continue to go down. There's no entry for us right now because of this pivot line here, and this pivot line, if we zoom out, that we drew from over here. Right? That's what we're looking at. If I delete that Cool. In fact, the pivot line that we saw previously was this one, which quite clearly we've been respecting. So again, would we want to hop in? No, we wouldn't. Because if we hopped in now, basically we do not have that much room. Say we were to hop in and we go in a short position. That's where you put your stop loss, somewhere up here, give it a bit of breathing room, and then you'd say, hey, there's the pivot line right there. A 0.64%. That's not worth it. Anything under 1% is not worth it. And you know on this channel we're going through a 2% minimum. So that's why I'd love for it to come back up into this random area here. Not all the way to the top. I'd love to get into this random area. Well, I say random. The reason why I picked this line in particular is because the market started to fall down, had a last piece of resistance, and then started to push on. So something happened here where the market had that last chance to continue to move up, but it just failed. So there might be a few buy orders in there. So it'd be a perfect place to come up. It might even push through and wick through, but here's what I would do. I'd go in a short, be really safe, might even put it and give it a lot of breathing room up here. And then I'd go for something around here. Now that is a 1.45. That doesn't really make me want to hop into it, but it all depends on where, if it retests where the wick ends. Say this was the retest and it came through here and I got a massive wick that just ended right there. What I'd be doing is hopping in and putting it just above that wick. And that's how you make it from, if you put a stop limit, right, a sell limit, and you want to be safe because you're not around it, that's the difference that you're basically going to make here. Is you're going to go from like a 1.66, 1.83, whatever it is, from entering roughly on this line, 1.88, to all of a sudden you're on 3%. That's the difference there. It's whether you have the time and the ability to watch the markets. It's going to be all about this structure and when it comes up to retest. So what I would do is I'm going to place an alert for this price point. So I am going to be now warned when the market comes back up and breaks through here. I'm going to get a little notification on my phone or my email, whatever it might be, and see what's happening when the market is breaking through here. However, that might not happen, right? We might just continue to have moved up, taken all the resistance that we want, and we're now going to move back down. In which case, again, we would want to wait for a re-entry to enter anyway. So I don't think it's going to happen particularly. It could happen today on the Friday. It could happen over the weekend. There's not that much volatility. I'd love this to happen next week because that's starting from Monday. That's when most of the financial institutions are going to be around, or the big whales are going to be there, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So let's check it out, see what happens, and hopefully we can get a re-entry up here before it falls down. That would be great. There's only one other option that I could see possibly happening, but this is more of a risk. This means it's now changed. It comes down here and then it starts to break through this line and then we start to go into this area. However, if it does start to go into this area, I am looking at it possibly changing from bearishness to bullishness for some time. Do I think that's going to happen? Well, weeks, days, the weekly and daily charts suggest that, you know, it's falling. It's falling. It's continued to fall. I've called it since November of last year. Do I think it's going to change? Not particularly. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but the only way I am going to know that is if it gives me some confirmations. However, let's think about it this way. We are going to still continue to go for sells, and if it does go up and do this, that's all right. We're sitting on 18% for 2 weeks. We are in for a loss at some point. But hopefully, it can come up around here and then start to fall down. But let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll be going more over what happened during the week, how we can improve on our other trades, what you should be looking out for, etc. Going into a bit more of a technical breakdown on the Saturday and Sunday rather than giving you setups. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you really enjoy it, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.